Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo, and we're here recording today's show here at the New Leaf Event Center on a Monday, and it is the 15th of June. And I have a first-time guest on the show today in a new business, a young man, an iconic last name. Now, if you're basketball viewer, high school basketball fans, this last name you should know. It's Hitchcock. It's Andover, right?
Yep.
The whole family was from Andover.
Correct.
And who I know, this is Gordon Hitchcock III.
Yep.
So here's who I know in the Hitchcock family. I know Robert Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm.
He is now in the Ashtabula County Basketball Foundation Hall of Fame, and a legendary coach. Was all his coaching done at PV High School?
Yes.
Okay.
From what I know, from what I remember.
Yeah. Great man. Great man, and he is your
He would be my grandpa's brother, so he would be my great uncle.
great uncle. I know a Bill Hitchcock. We called him Wild Bill at work. At work, and
Yep.
so and he would be what to you?
He would be another great uncle. He is my grandpa's youngest brother.
Okay.
He had 11 siblings.
Now I thought when I first got a hold of him that he was Sam Hitchcock of the Jefferson Falcons, and he is a cousin of yours.
Correct.
As is Grant Hitchcock.
Correct.
Now there's so many other ones too. Who am I missing? Obviously, there's
you
two
got,
Gordons ahead of you.
Yep. You have Lucas, Doug Hitchcock at PV2. He played with my dad, basketball and football. My dad, Gordon Hitchcock. You have some of my aunts, Kelly Hitchcock, who went and played basketball for Walsh.
So there were sisters.
Yes.
Okay. How many sisters?
Of my dad's, there are 3.
3. Okay.
And then my grandpa has, I think, like 5 sisters.
Okay. And you're Robert, the one we just talked about, Hall of Fame, and yourself played basketball at PV. Now, some have also played at Jefferson, like Sam and Grant
Lucas.
and Lucas.
Yep.
And is that because they live in that area, or how did that come where they were?
Yeah, they had kind of moved out to that area. Doug was a principal at Grand Valley for a while, but they lived kind of more in that Jefferson school district, so they chose to go to Jefferson instead of PV.
Mm-hmm. And was that like it's always been a rivalry, I know, Jefferson and PV, but was it a Hitchcock rivalry?
Not really. I mean, it was by the time that I had kind of gotten to high school, PV and Jefferson didn't really play each other that much. I think probably the only time in my high school career we played Jefferson was season opener of my senior year.
And that was a shame, right? Those two teams you would think would play every year, and that's happening all over now for whatever the reason.
Yeah.
And your basketball coach when you played was Ryan Shantz.
Yep.
Great man. We interviewed him here at this last Basketball Foundation. Now, you remember Steve French?
Yep.
Also a great man. Coached both PV and Jefferson.
Yeah.
So it's not just Hitchcocks, the Frenches too.
Yeah.
And then before him, I think was it Jeremy Huber?
I believe so, yeah.
So a lot of basketball talent out of that Lakers school. Do you attend any Laker games to this day?
Now that I'm back in the area, I will. My friend and former teammate Tanner Rhodes is an assistant coach there now. He graduated same year, played basketball from 4th grade to senior year altogether. So I'll be definitely going and attending a few Laker basketball games, and of course I have some other friends on the coaching staff of the football team, so I'll be there watching a couple games as well.
Now you played all 4 years of high school at PV.
Correct.
Basketball. Did you say you played football as well?
I played a little bit of football. It just wasn't really my thing. I had the height. I don't have the Hitchcock stockiness.
What were the years? What years did you play the football?
I just played my freshman year, so that would have been 17 to 18, I think.
So no middle school football.
Well, I played middle school
Middle
football.
school up to about
freshman year.
Freshman year.
Yep.
And then any other sports?
I did cross country from sophomore to junior year.
Obviously, basketball is your first love. And you played what position?
I was a center and power forward.
And you graduated from PV in what, 2021? 2021. So that would have been the 2020 season, right? I
It would
have
have
something
been,
here that's
yeah,
amazing.
2020 to 21.
It's amazing to me. I was looking at this. 2021 was your senior year.
Yep.
15-5 record, 9-2 in the NAC, which
Yep.
is the Northeastern Athletic Conference. It was a second place finish.
Yep.
You guys had in that senior year, I'm going to test your memory, I
Okay.
know you know it well, 7 straight wins to start the season, and you won 5 of your last 6 games. What was successful, would you say, about that current team? Because the other teams that you played on too were just about as good.
We just had a lot of what PV basketball has been over my time. It's been a lot of get out and transition, kind of beat them to the basket, and if not, we have a couple of sets that where we would kind of go into, we called it special, go in and kind of run that almost every time. And by the time we were seniors that last year, we had Jonah Wilkerson, who was 1,000-point scorer for PV, and then Tanner Rhodes. Obviously, they would have kind of a two-man game, and you'd have the bigs down low, setting some screens, moving around, trying to get open. And if they couldn't get open, Tanner or Jonah would, or if they got open, missed it, we're grabbing the rebound, going back up with it.
What an outstanding record, 15-5, like I said, 9-2 in the conference. Do you remember who the 2 conference losses were to?
Bristol,
Both to Bristol.
if I'm remembering right, yeah.
The Lakers were always, the years that I have watched them, always play well at home, but they also play well on the road, and they get the crowd support for away games. Talk a little bit about what that meant when you were on the court to see the team fans travel.
Oh, it was phenomenal. You know, sometimes, especially during the senior season where it was kind of that COVID time where you only got a certain amount of tickets to give to friends or family. A certain player can only have a certain amount of people come out just because of the social distancing and all that stuff. But even then we had, you know, phenomenal travel. It kind of some away games would feel like home games just because the amount of support we would get from our fans, the parents, friends of families, things of that nature.
Was there a certain team your senior year on that schedule that was considered your biggest rival?
Bristol's always a tough team to play just because they had such a great coaching staff, and they would always be well conditioned, so you would always be trying to make you play their pace, and just would try and run you off the floor. So that was always a tough place to play at, and probably the team we would most of the time have circled and be like, all right, we got to go in and
There's always
handle
those
business.
teams you circle when you see the schedule come
Yeah.
out. Was Grand Valley on your schedule, and would that be a team that you would circle?
That was Grand Valley during our time. They had just left the NAC to go to Jefferson's conference, which is
The Youngstown schools.
yep.
Yeah.
So they went up there because they
It
were
was called the Big 8 or something like
yeah
that.
because they were great at football, and they chose to leave the NAC to go pursue better competition, and then they recently have rejoined the NAC. So there wasn't a lot of, when they weren't in our conference, we didn't really play them, honestly. But every time we would go into Grand Valley, obviously, you know, the historic PV Grand Valley rivalry, that's something you always have
Oh, yes.
circled.
Definitely. In your senior year, now, was there a certain player that you liked going up against that you would consider one of your biggest rivals as a player?
Not really.
So basically,
I mean,
just team-wise.
yeah, I was always just team-wise. I mean, I never really looked at a name on a scouting report and was like, oh, man, really love to go against this guy, you know. Most of the time it was just, all right, we got to handle business. I'm not really too worried about whose name is on the back of the warm-up.
Now, what I liked about your coach, Ryan Shantz, we talked about this when I was talking with him, is that the best part about your team was that no matter who the opponent was, you had respect for the opponent, whether they were 1-12 or 12-1.
Yeah.
You played the same. You didn't take that foot off the gas pedals. Oh, we got an easy one tonight.
Yeah.
Is that hard to do? when you're playing a team that's not that good?
No, I would say it is, you got to hold yourself to a certain standard when you are trying to, have success as a team. And it feels like if you were to take your foot off the gas, that's kind of disrespectful to the opponent. Any team can beat anyone on any given day.
I was just going to say there's always in the back of your mind, you take somebody lightly and that likely
can
could
kill
come
you.
up and bite you.
Yeah, you could dig yourself into a hole to where you could play phenomenal the rest of the game and it still will either show up close and it could bite you in the rankings later, or you might end up losing a game you really shouldn't lose.
Exactly. Now, in your junior year, which would have been 19 and 20, that was the COVID year.
Yep.
15 and 5 again, even a better conference record, 11 and 2, still a second place finish. That year, you won 7 straight after dropping your opening game at Edgewood. Do you recall that opening game at Edgewood? And what do you think you guys learned from that loss? Because you went on to win 7 straight after that.
Edgewood was always a team that I liked having early in the year just because they were always someone that we would always go up against, and they were always a good team, and they would help you kind of figure out where the team was. Because you can go in and practice for about a month and think that you're all that, but when it hits the fan, that's when you kind of figure out where you stand as a team. And I can't remember specifically how that game went. I remember that it was close from what I remember, but it was still always, coming out of Edgewood, you got a better idea of who you would be as a team moving forward for the rest of the season.
Edgewood was always a team here for Conneaut, was a team that we always wanted to beat. That was like our rival. And I now know that Jefferson also wants to beat Edgewood. Did PV have that? Of course, you want to beat everybody you play. But did you have like a big rivalry with Edgewood?
Oh, yeah. Just because, like I said, most of the time they were one of our out-of-conference teams we would play every year. And, you would see those guys, playing on freshman year to senior year and sometimes even middle school to senior year of high school. You play them every year. And most of the time the games are close. And if they're not close, one side's obviously going to not have they're going to have a chip on their shoulder for the rest of that year until you play them next year, because not being in the conference, you get one shot every year. And that's it. You lose, that's bragging rights for 365 days until you get another shot.
30 and 10 in your last 2 years, team-wise. I don't know about postseason. Regular season record, you were 30 and 10, which is outstanding. Identical 15 and 5 record, junior and senior year. So I'm going to assume same players, same kind of system.
Yeah, same kind of system. That was one thing that I always kind of liked about PV's program. Everything was kind of consistent. You would have, obviously, guys come and go, but the system and the general idea would stay the same. You're not seeing huge system or idea swings from year to year.
2 more conference wins than the senior year. 11 and 2. Do you know who the 2 extra wins came against? I know I'm putting your memory.
I'm thinking it was probably because I think after junior year,
the conference must have expanded because there was 11 conference games your senior year, 13 in your junior year.
I think it was because we lost a school. I think we lost Newberry.
Okay.
So Newberry folded or dissolved or however you want to word it.
All right.
Into a couple other districts.
30 and 10 after 2 years, but guess what? It's going to get better. Your sophomore year, this is unbelievable to me. Also 15 and 5. 3 straight 15-win season, 8 and 1 in the conference, and you did win the conference.
Yep.
First place that year. You had 6 straight after losing your home opener to Edgewood again in your sophomore year. And that was, I believe, home opener at home. So same question I'm going to ask, if you can remember in your sophomore year, what turned you guys to get 6 straight wins after losing to Edgewood again?
Like I said, especially losing to Edgewood at home, that'll always light a fire under you, regardless of,
a good opening season test for you.
Oh, yeah, every year. That's kind of what I liked about going against Edgewood every year. That's another team you have circled and be like, all right, this is where we like I said, you can practice for about a month and a half, and you get an idea of where you guys are at as a team. But going in and testing yourself against good competition is where you figure out if you're worth it or not.
45 and 15 from sophomore through senior year. Freshman year, I think I even have that on here. That would have been 17 and 18, right?
Yep.
Now there you did have a different record. You had a losing record, 8 and 12, 4 and 4, and third place finish in the conference. Were you varsity, JV, both?
I was JV my freshman year.
Your entire you remember the varsity play?
I remember a little bit. It's been quite a while, but I can remember bits and pieces of that season.
So you guys coming up in your freshman year really turned the program around from that freshman year then, because like I say, 45 and 10. Now, personally, what was your points per game and rebounds and stuff?
It's been so long I couldn't remember. I just remember it wasn't the Hitchcock standard, I'll just say that. But it wasn't, at the end of the day, I was more concerned about helping the team win than counting, I got 5-6 rebounds.
Right,
I'm
team
more
player.
just like,
right.
Let's win, because no one's really going to look back and be like, you averaged 10 and 8 in high school, but your team sucked. My thought process was I'd rather contribute and help put a number on the banners for, district, state, championship, whatever, or even conference championships on the banner in the school, and then I could be like, we were part of those teams.
Well, congratulations on such a great high school career.
Oh, thank you.
All those wins. And so, like I said, iconic name Hitchcock in high school basketball. If you're a high school basketball fan, I don't care where you live in the county, you got to know that name. And so, did everybody in the family play basketball?
Most
the girls
yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Just incredible. And it all started with Robert and the first Gordon, probably.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow, just amazing. All right, so after high school, then you went on to Youngstown State University.
Correct.
Graduated there, 2024?
December of 24, yeah.
So that would be 3 years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. So you completed that. And you chose Youngstown State University for what reason?
It was close to home, and it was cheap.
And that's the Penguins, is it?
Yep. And my uncle, he's not my blood uncle, but he married my brother, or my dad's sister. He played for Jim Tressel on a couple of those championship teams in the 90s. So that was always kind of, not a lot of people around here really think of Youngstown State, and that was just kind of put it in the back of my mind, and I had an opportunity, to go there, and then I worked for the athletic marketing department for 3.5 years there, and it was a great time. I'd choose it 100 more times.
Now, what level of high school were you in when you decided on YSU, and were there other schools that you were looking at?
It was probably late into my senior year to where I was kind of evaluating whether or not I wanted to go and try and play basketball in college or not. There were a couple other places. I was considering my dad's alma mater, Edinburgh. I was considering Walsh. I considered, Kent, Akron, Cleveland State, but I ended up settling on YSU because I kind of just was like, well, my performance on the court hadn't really gained me a lot of, scholarships in terms of, athletic performance. And I mean, any scholarships I had were mainly academic. And I just kind of decided that it was better for my future to maybe go to some place where I kind of prioritized the financials over my playing career at the end of the day, because I felt like I could hang my laurels on what I had already accomplished with my team.
Sure. And like you said, if you had to do it all over again, it would be Youngstown State University.
100%.
Did you commute?
No, I lived in Youngstown. I lived
Even though you were close.
Yeah, I had an apartment probably a minute walk from campus. Mm-hmm. So
you got that done in 3.5 years.
Yep.
And When you were thinking about going to Youngstown State University, did you know what you wanted to major in?
Yes, I majored in business administration, and I obviously wanted to keep sports in my life somewhat, so I obviously picked up that athletic marketing internship.
Going to YSU as a freshman, new environment and everything. Anybody there from PV that joined you, or anywhere in the county that you knew?
Oh yeah, we had a good amount of our graduating class go to YSU from PV. Probably a group about 10 of us, and PV's not a big school, so it was still a decent amount of the, people you graduated with. And there were still some other people who had gone to YSU from, people who were older than me from PV, and then some of the other people from the surrounding areas. And I actually, when I was still playing in high school, I played travel AAU basketball in a team from Youngstown, so I had some friends from that down there as well.
From a sports point of view, now we all look at PV, or I should say me, I won't speak for everybody. I look at PV as a basketball school. Would I be right?
I would say yes. Basketball and football are the main two. Pick your poison there.
And Youngstown State, what kind of sports-wise, what are they noted for? Softball, is it?
They do have a very good softball team, but they have been dominant in recent years in track and field.
Track and field.
Yep.
Okay. Now, did you look at that too, or did you just look at it from a business point as where you wanted to go?
I looked at it mainly as a business standpoint of where, what would put me in a best position after graduation to figure out where I wanted to go forward with my business degree, because business is a very broad degree.
What grade would you say you were in, Gordy? Is Gordy all right, or Gordon? Do they call you Gordy?
Oh yeah.
What grade level were you in when you even started to think about college, or where I wanted to go? Would you say it was in middle school or high school, early high
It
school?
was probably around late sophomore, early junior years where I tried to kind of figure out, like, okay, let's figure out what I would look for in a college. Really growing up, I was Ohio State fan, obviously, but I wouldn't say an odd one, but I always loved Duke.
The Blue Devils.
Yep. I was kind of, Coach K, and obviously, being basketball centered, that was always a team that stood out to me, and I always wanted to go there until you look at the tuition cost. You're like, maybe not Duke. maybe I won't go to Duke unless I'm going on a full athletic scholarship. So, but that was around the time where I started to look and kind of figure out, okay, I want to be closer to home. I don't want to be out, halfway across the country in case, something were to happen, or I just want to go see my family. I wanted to have that flexibility, and obviously the financial standpoint of I didn't want to take out a ton of student loan debt to go to my dream school or whatever.
How much would you say, Gordon, that your family played into the decision of going to Youngstown State, or did they have no input?
I would say they had, quite a bit of input, just because, like I said, wanting to be closer to them, and the Hitchcocks we're very, very family oriented. So obviously having, like I said, that flexibility to go see my family, and they obviously were supportive of me wherever I wanted to go, but they were obviously happy that it was, close to home, and that they could pop in and see me, and obviously, go to a Youngstown State football game, a Youngstown State basketball game if they wanted to.
Any assistance that you got from the PB High School, like from guidance counselors on your decision?
Oh yeah, I got plenty of help from them, kind of figure out, okay, this is, these are your scholarships, this is how they break down for Cleveland State, here's YSU, here's Ohio State, that kind of deal. Helped me through a lot, kind of picking and planning and seeing it all on paper. And especially, I did College Credit Plus in high school, so it was kind of like, okay, your credits are directly transferable here, but they may not fully transfer to here. So that kind of was one of the things where it was like, well, I've already done some college education before I've even graduated high school. I want to make sure it all would transfer.
And that seems to be a trend.
Yep.
The CCP classes. So in your senior year, when you were doing CCP classes, did you spend any time in the high school at all?
Yes. For what I did, mainly it was my junior and my senior year were the 2 years I took a lot of it. And my junior year, I was probably at the school, I think, the full day, if I can remember. But my senior year, I was out of the high school by 10:30 every day. Just because I had gotten my credits done to where it was like, all right, you're only taking AP Calculus and a couple other AP classes and then going home and doing the college credit.
Now help me out with the CCP because I keep hearing different stories, but do you have to, is there qualifications or requirements to do that?
I believe that there is a GPA requirement and you have to do so many, you have to have so many credits done for actual high school. But other than that, I can't remember any other specific ones, but I would say that if it's an option for anyone, I would definitely take it because I feel like there's no disadvantage because you get a full year's worth of high school credit in half a year, plus you get the college credit for the class.
And it's for seniors and juniors?
Yes. I believe some classes are available as a sophomore too, but I could be wrong.
Okay. So as far as you know, it's the GPA, you gotta meet a certain,
From what I remember,
not just
yeah.
anybody can
They may
say,
have,
"I'm
it's
gonna
been
do
a
that."
while, but they may have changed it, but from what I remember, yeah.
Yeah, not just anybody can
Yeah.
take that. Okay, now, before we get into what I really want to talk to you about, is I got two numbers here
Okay.
for your uniform. I got a 44 and a 34. Which is it?
I had, well, 44 and 32 were the two.
Oh, 32.
They change you change numbers pretty much every year, at least in my case.
So what was your number in the senior year?
32.
32. And junior year?
44.
Did you mind the change? And what
No.
was the reason for the change?
The change is because I wanted 32 when we got new uniforms, but 32 was already taken by someone who was a senior when I was a junior, and he was a close friend, so I was like, yeah, you can have 32, I'll take 44, and then when you leave, I'll take 32.
You said you wanted 32. Any significant reason for that number?
No. I just kind of always liked, 32, and they didn't have 34 or 36 for Kareem and Shaq, or nowadays Giannis. So I was like, I'll take 32.
Are you a fan of the National Basketball Association?
I have fallen out in recent years, but when I was growing up, heck yes.
Did you root for the Cleveland Cavaliers or
Oh, yeah.
somebody else?
Cavs fan through and
Cavs
through.
fan. Okay. Do you follow any other pro sports?
I follow the NFL, obviously, Cleveland Browns fan, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're kind of all in the same boat. No,
Oh, yeah.
No baseball, Guardians, or anything like that.
My grandma loves the Guardians, but I've just never really gotten into
Baseball.
baseball.
Anybody else in the family that gets into that? I'm bringing that up because that's my favorite.
Oh, you love baseball?
I love it.
Oh.
Major League Baseball. I don't care too much for high school, but Major League.
Yeah, MLB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, no one really got into baseball from what I can remember.
Okay. So you were 44 in your junior year, 32 in your senior year.
Correct.
And then what about the sophomore and freshman year?
Sophomore, freshman year, I was 35 because they had pretty much they had JV and freshman, and I played freshman and JV, but they only had, if you were a freshman, you got freshman uniforms. So I had 35 from that, and then sophomore year, I got a JV jersey, which was 34.
So Gordon, 45 and 15, 3 years of varsity basketball. His first year was a freshman JV player. Was there also a freshman team or just
There was a freshman team, yeah.
There was. So you just played on the JV though?
I played JV as freshman.
Okay. All right. Now, you have just been hired, I believe, in May
Yep.
2026 with the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Professional Realty as an agent. Is that correct?
Correct.
The Rick Firmage team. We
Yep.
all know Rick Firmage here in the Conneaut area. May of 2026, so you're when in May?
I passed my classes earlier in May, but I think they finally put out all that stuff. I think like May May 24th.
So about not even quite a month then.
I mean, I've been
15th,
licensed
right?
for about a little,
Let's
little
call it
over a month. Yeah.
a month. And so far, how would you say it's going for you?
It's going good. Right now it's kind of a slower time as, kids graduate, kids just got out of school, you have Little League Baseball starting. So not a lot of people are looking to buy or sell real estate. So right now I'm really focused on gaining as much knowledge as I can through Rick and kind of getting my feet underneath me so I can kind of, when it does get busy, I'm not, caught with my tail between my legs and I can,
When did the real estate come to you?
It came to me, growing up, my dad did rental properties. So I kind of was always familiar with it in that aspect, and I always thought this would be something that I could be interested in. So that kind of came to me when I was down in Columbus for my job that I took right out of Youngstown. And I was just like, I didn't love the Columbus area. Obviously, being close to Ohio State and, going to watch those games was always fun, but I'm not, big on big city living.
Sure.
To kind of give context to that. And then I decided to get my license through real estate because Rick said he would, kind of help me out, kind of get my feet underneath me and help me out and learn the ropes. So
as you said, having somebody in the family involved in that, would you say that was the big inspiration for you?
Yeah. And then obviously Rick saying that he would help me out so then I wasn't just, all right, get my license and then thrown straight to the wolves.
And how did you meet Rick?
Rick is my dad's realtor. They've been in, business together for...
Great guy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Him and...
Big Guardians fan, that I know.
Yeah, and then he was also, my Uncle Doug's realtor, so he was kind of, has been a friend of the family for
Doug
quite a
Hitchcock.
while.
Yeah, I forgot about Doug. I didn't even mention him, did I? Now, he would be about what, age-wise?
I think he
I'm making you
is...
think today on these
I
numbers.
know it. You're challenging
I'm an
me.
analytics guy.
He'd probably be, let's see, probably around 54, 53.
Okay, all right. Wow, just amazing. What might people misconceive about a real estate agent? I know you're only a month in, so you're getting questions from
No.
me that, like you're a veteran, but
Right.
you eventually will get these.
I feel like a lot of people's first initial reaction is, maybe that they don't need a realtor to sell their house. And technically they don't. But I would say that, the reason that I am here as a real estate agent is to kind of help you through the process, because it's not an easy process to buy or sell a piece of land. It's not like you're going down to the grocery store and buying a carton of eggs. And obviously making sure everything is taken care of from a paperwork perspective, from making sure that the title is correct. And I would just kind of draw the parallel of, you can represent yourself in court, but 90% of the time you want a lawyer because that's what the lawyer does for a living. They have a lot of expertise that, a lot of other people may not have. So I would say that's kind of where the real estate agent niche kind of falls into for people who want that peace of mind that they are being taken care of, and that at the end of the day, it is also my responsibility to go to bat for my buyer or my seller and get them the best possible, deal imaginable.
What did your family think about your start in your career here with the real estate?
They were supportive. They were kind of, they were like, you went down to Columbus and didn't really like the job that you were in. This opportunity has come up. We support you and we think you'll be good at it. So
Now, are you just in the county, or can you go out of county as an
I
agent?
can go anywhere in the state of Ohio.
Anywhere in Ohio?
Correct.
Wow. Okay, very good. In our region, what would you say, again, he's only a month in, but what would you say the current housing market looks like in our region?
I would say it's definitely a seller's market. A lot of people are wanting to buy, and there's not necessarily a ton of houses going up for sale that are, not fixer-uppers, we'll say. Mm-hmm. So I would say that, you see a lot of these quality homes on the market, they usually get snapped up pretty quick.
Now let me ask you this: you're with Berkshire. Is it Berkshire or Berkshire?
Berkshire.
Berkshire Hathaway, and you're showing a house to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also show houses from other real estate agencies. Is that correct?
Correct. I just have to get permission from the listing agent. Say you wanted to buy a house and you wanted to go look at it over on, say, like Main Street in Conneaut or something. And I would have to go to the person it was listed through.
To do it.
Yep, permission. Like, hey, I got a buyer who wants to go look at this, and I'll be like, yeah, sure, you can see it from X to Y. And
what are you finding buyers and or sellers looking for right now? Start with the buyers.
a lot of people, especially around this area, they're either looking for their next project if they're an investor, or they're looking for some place where they can kind of get away from the, get their own plot of land somewhere out in, I wouldn't say the country, because I mean, we're kind of all out in the country at the end of the day, but kind of away from the hustle and bustle of, say, the city of Conneaut or the city of like Warren or something like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are looking to kind of get out and kind of have their own secluded parcel of land.
And how about from the seller's standpoint?
A lot of people are, older folks who are either, moving into homes or wanting to move, south away from the winter that we get here in Northeast Ohio. And so a lot of them, and some of them are just fixer-uppers, people pass away, unfortunately, and stuff of that nature.
Now, in this business, do you have to feel like you're like a high school basketball referee? You got to work with the buyer, you got to work with the seller. So you're kind of like, You
got to toe that fine line, yeah.
How difficult is that?
I wouldn't say it's super difficult. I mean, obviously understand that the seller's agent or the seller has their own duties to themselves or their...
and both the buyer and the seller know you're in that position, right?
Most of the time, yeah. Some people are a little less understanding, but that's just more of a people thing than a job thing. Mm-hmm. I would say that, at the end of the day, I know that I obviously have to toe that fine line, but I obviously got to be more in my client's court than anything.
Mm-hmm. Demographically speaking, now from buyers, most of our buyers, would you say 30 to 50 in that age group?
I would say that age group,
more so than the older folks and the
I would say,
guys?
it would be more 30 to 50, and then most of the people that are, 50 to 70 are looking to, either if they're an investor looking to downsize while the market is nicer, while it's a seller's market, or, like I said, moving around.
Is it more difficult or easier working with the older group?
You get your pros and cons, but I feel like I work great with, everyone.
What group?
Yeah.
I could tell it's because of your communication and personality too. That makes a huge difference. Let's see here. How do you stay at the top of your game when the housing market is in constant shifting trends?
You just got to stay informed. Last thing you want is to give, someone who's, saying, I want you to represent me,
So you're like still doing homework.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, yeah.
You're studying, even
yeah,
though you're not in college
you want to be
anymore.
able to make sure that you're giving your client the best info possible, whether they're buying or selling.
You're still learning every day.
Oh, yeah.
And probably learning on the job as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep. So, and that's something that also has kind of drawn me to it, is that there's an improvement every day, and that's something that I've always valued and have always strived for. I feel like it's pretty fun. I wouldn't say fundamental, but great rule to follow.
So when you go and show a house,
Mm-hmm.
now I've heard two different things on this. I've heard that the seller can be there, but I heard the seller can't be there. I heard it both ways.
It'll depend on the type of listing. Some listings will. I don't think I've ever had. Well, I mean, like I said, I've only been there a month, but I don't think that most of the time the seller is not present. I've had sellers' agents be present, but I've never had the actual owner of the home be present.
How do you think it makes you and the buyer feel if the seller is present?
I mean, it's I wouldn't say like it's super uncomfortable, but it's obviously, you know, like if your seller or your buyer's walking through and is looking and is kind of thinking out loud to themselves, you don't want the seller to know, you know, X, Y, or Z, like, oh, you hate this or you really love this. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, no one really wants to hear their house, you know, talked about poorly, especially right in front of their face.
Right, right.
And also, you don't want to give the seller more ammunition to be like, oh, they love the house. I'm not going to really negotiate with them.
Now, the seller, if they're not going to be there and you're showing their house, do they give you any specific rules, like, I don't want you to go in this room or anything
It'll
like
depend.
that?
They can be like, hey, you can't go here, or, you know, you can show the rest of the house, but I can't give you access to the garage or something like that.
Or how about anything like make sure they take their shoes off when they come in or anything like that?
Yeah, they can do that too.
Okay, and you have to obey what they want you
Oh,
to
yeah.
do.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still their property. You still have to respect that aspect of it.
So when the buyer asks you questions about the house, do you ever have to say, I have to refer back to the seller to get the answer, or do you pretty much know the answer?
Sometimes it'll depend on what exactly they're asking. Most of the time, I try and get anything that is readily available on the website, on the showing.
Like how
Details.
old's the roof and stuff like that?
Yeah, most of the time. Sometimes for stuff like that, I'll have to refer back to the seller if it's not included in the listing or if I can't find it publicly available.
Do the buyers and sellers eventually meet
They will eventually meet, I
after there's a
believe.
deal made?
Yes.
That's the only time though, right? Or can
Yeah.
they meet before that?
Most of the time they don't meet before that.
Okay. Interesting business that you're in. I think it's a good business too, and I think you're going to do very well in it. Do we have knowledge of underrated neighborhoods or up and coming areas in the local region?
Like I said, I've only been doing it about a month, so I don't want to put that
I'm
kind
just
of.
saying that now because I said it 4 times.
I've kind of only. I don't want to put info out there and it be
Exactly. Right.
incorrect. I don't want to mislead anyone out there.
Right.
that
Just
may
in
be
the
watching.
month you've seen so far, or are you? Is it still way too young to?
It's still.
or
I
new
would say in this kind of, you know, in this time where it's a little slower and I'm kind of starting to get my legs underneath me. It's kind of hard to figure out what neighborhoods are kind of up and coming. I would say, I mean, I guess Jefferson is always going to be a good area just because of the, you know, quality of that school district and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, it is one of the better school districts, I think, in Ashtabula County,
yeah,
right?
I'd
If I'm
agree.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
At least on the state report cards it is. Interesting one here. How do you want to help clients manage the emotional roller coaster of the process? Because it can be very emotional
yeah.
for the buyer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
probably the seller
Yeah,
as well.
especially the sellers. If you're selling a home that you may have lived in for 40, 50 years, if you're an older folk, and it's, you know, you're going to have emotions tied to that house. You know, you're going to have kids raised in that house, you know, memories made. And sometimes for a lot of people, that's hard to, you know, kind of let go of, and understandably so. I mean, I would have hard time getting rid of anything I've owned for 50 years. And I would say that, you know, I'm always open and understanding to any kind of emotions and what, you know, the buyer or the seller may feel, whether the seller feels, you know, frustration that maybe they aren't getting a price they want, or the buyer feeling frustration that, you know, we haven't found anything that they super love yet. But I'm obviously, you know, very open and understanding to anything, and I will be more than happy if they have an issue or if they're having some, you know, some kind of emotional turmoil. Feel free to sit down with me or give me a call, and I will obviously.
Now let me ask you this question, Gordy. You're showing a house. You got 2 appointments in the same day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The morning people, they give you an offer. Let's say 175,000. The afternoon people come in, they give you an offer 170,000, 5,000 less. Do you have to tell them they have to go higher?
I would depend on if I've communicated to the seller that, hey, we got an offer for $175,000. Obviously, I could be like, and say, hey, we have an offer for $175,000 already, just being honest, but it would just depend on the situation. To be,
I would kind of think if I was the one putting in the 170, I'd want to know if I need to go
right,
higher.
and that's something I completely understand.
Yeah.
Like I said, it would kind of depend on.
Kind of like a, what do they call that? It could be like a bidding war going on
Yeah,
too, right?
right.
Normally when the seller gives their price
Mhm.
and the buyer's giving their first price, obviously the buyer's going to go lower and the seller's going to probably go a little higher.
Yeah.
So do you see, again, a month, do you see both sides, the seller come down a little bit or the buyer go up a little bit? What do you see more often if you do see it?
I see more often the buyer coming up in this
Buyer
kind of
coming
market.
up.
Yeah.
Okay. So walk me through a typical day so far for you.
A
As a
lot of
realtor.
it has been just kind of if I've got some kind of deal going on, like this morning I had to call Warren, the city of Warren, for some zoning stuff. So it'll be like a lot of that. Still taking care of some like onboarding stuff, just because Berkshire sends 20 million emails and you got to kind of register for all that, and they give you a timeline and make sure you're on track with that. Continued education is a big thing in your first year because you have to do 20 hours of continued education right after you get your license, after doing the 100 total hours of education to even get the license, and you have to do 20 in your first year after licensure. So a lot of that now is kind of getting that kind of knowledge and that stuff knocked out of the way while it's slower, so then I'm fully prepared for when it does pick up a little bit more.
Where is the main office for Berkshire?
It's in Ashtabula.
Ashtabula. Okay. And you work every day?
Yes.
And sometimes somebody can call you at an odd hour or something and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
You feel like a doctor.
On call.
On call. What do you consider to be a valuable or quality effective agent? What are some of the qualities you think you gotta possess?
You gotta have.
Obviously, communication and
Yeah.
personality. We already talked about that. Can you not imagine him not having that? Because you do have that.
I
I
appreciate
can
it.
tell you that right now.
I would
You got the
say.
smile too.
I would say that's something that I think all agents should have is integrity, some honesty, and you got to be knowledgeable. Those are the three things that I would say. I wouldn't say make or break, but I would say make or break.
And honesty, of course, too. I mean, if you don't know an answer to the question, you have to say, I don't know, but I can find out.
Exactly. Because you don't want to give, someone, if you're in a agreement with a representation agreement with your buyer or your seller, the last thing I want to do is if you're paying me to be your agent to give you false information, you're paying me to give you right information and to steer you, or I wouldn't say steer you, but help you make your most informed and best decision.
Now, when I was preparing for this, when I thought of this question, this turns out to be my most interesting question for me because you're young, you're 1 month. So what advice would you give to a first-time home buyer in today's market? I'd be interested to hear. I know what some veteran real estate agents have told me. I'd like to hear what you would think. What advice?
I would say definitely figure out what kind of qualities you would like into where you're living, which obviously may seem elementary, but as a first-time home buyer, you need to kind of, I would say, figure out what you really don't like and what you really like, because that'll kind of determine where we're kind of looking and kind of what your range, or if you're going to be looking for something right here in the city of Conneaut because you want to be close to the school, or you want to be close to stores, stuff like that. It's kind of go down your tier list of what you value, and kind of I would say, if you're looking just by yourself, kind of obviously keep that in mind as you look, because you would hate to get into an agreement or some kind of contractual obligation to where you're like, now you kind of feel like you get a little bit of buyer's regret and some FOMO and stuff like that. And I would say that obviously be sure that you are 100%.
Great advice. Great advice. Somebody's giving you a bid, and you know it's ridiculously low.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that you have to tell them that they're low?
No. It would depend on if they are represented by me or not. If, say, I was helping a seller sell something and someone gave me a low offer, I would present that offer as is my obligation. But I wouldn't tell that person, like, hey, this is probably pretty low. And sometimes, it would just depend on how low the offer actually was. If they were represented by me, I would be like, hey, this may be a low offer. We might want to jack it up just a little bit. But obviously, I can't tell you what you can or cannot offer. Right. But I can offer some advice.
Can a buyer tell you, we'll take this off of this offer that the seller wants,
Mm-hmm.
but I want the seller to do something about the roof before we do it? Is that a possibility?
That is something that is obviously a possibility. It would just have to be worked out on a case-by-case basis. So say you bought a house or you wanted to buy a house and like you said, roof needed some repair or something. We could have it be where, you buy it as is, and, seller comes down a little bit on the price to, make up for the fact that you will have to do some roof work on it. They can do the roof work themselves before you take possession. There's a couple other things that you can do, but I would say that, stuff like that is obviously always a possibility, but it's got to be worked out on a case-by-case basis between the two parties.
Are you involved in anything in the Andover community area or anywhere in the community? Do you do on any boards or anything?
I am not on any boards or anything like that at the moment. Obviously,
you don't want to get on that PV school board?
my mom's on the school board.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
She's got the school board thing all handled.
Not for you.
I don't think I'd be on the school board, but I would definitely, like to stay, involved in the community through, food drives, stuff of that nature.
Any coaching aspirations?
Oh, of course. That's something that
I could see you being a great coach.
I
can. I really can.
That is something that has always been in the back of my mind, and it is something that I will probably pursue at some point in the future. Whether that's next year or a year after that, I couldn't tell you.
Would it have to be basketball, or could it be, you said you played some track and field as well?
I would mainly like to stick
Basketball?
Basketball.
Because you know it so well.
Mm-hmm. And it's first love, man.
Is it tough to coach kids today, high school kids?
From talking with my friends who have, it's kind of, it's a lot of give and take, as is any coaching position. I mean, they said that it's not as bad as you would think, but it's still, obviously difficult handling, whether it be high school or middle school kids. I mean, at the end of the day, they're kids. Sometimes they can be a little difficult.
Would you allow these beats, what do they call those
The
things?
AirPod things?
Yeah, during warm-ups on the basketball floor, would you allow that? I've asked our coach that. Would you allow that? And first of all, well, no, let me just ask that. Did you do it?
No.
Okay.
Well, we had a good band. I didn't really need to.
One of the best jazz bands around.
So, I would say that if I had to choose, I would say probably not. I feel like, there's going to be, most of the time there's either going to be the band playing or there's music over the loudspeakers, depending.
If I had any pet peeve, that would be one of them. That just, I don't know why, but it just bothers me. It just does. I don't know.
I could see how it could bother some people.
I keep having these kids tell me I'm old schooled.
Maybe I'm old school. Maybe we're both old school.
Let's see. The pillars of real estate. Now, product, price, place, promotion. Product would be the home.
Correct.
Price would be the value.
Yep.
Place would be obviously the location, and promotion would be the exposure. Outstanding pillars.
Yeah, I would say those are the best pillars, and obviously, I can't really help you with the first three. I mean, I can't exactly move your home to a
Right.
better place. I can't fix it up for you. I can't do that things, but my job would be mainly that fourth pillar, that promotion, and getting people to kind of be interested, whether you're a seller or the promotion of going out and being like, okay, you gave me these parameters, here's what I have found, what do you think? And that's kind of my job. That saves you the runaround of scrolling through your Zillow or
Sure.
Realtor.com or whatever.
I got a few minutes left, Gordy. Are you okay with the time? Or? Okay. How good is using social media in your industry for selling homes?
I would say that it is definitely something that's rising up as the rise of the cell phone has kind of made it to where nowadays it's, I wouldn't say impossible without social media, but it definitely puts you back a couple of steps. I've never been a huge social media guy, mainly because I'm kind of a little more old school, but I will definitely, I would rather have that social media aspect to, do the,
So it is important, though.
100%.
Yeah, has to be, I would think. What's the hardest part keeping your clients focused on home tours?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard to keep them focused. I mean, most of the time they know what they're looking for, and I can kind of help guide, but at the end of the day, if they want to kind of, I wouldn't say freely wander the house, but if they want to kind of wander from room to room and kind of look around, and I just kind of assist on the way and kind
So
of
you
help
follow
guide
them along, or do you say you go in that room, I'll be right here, or anything like that?
No, most of the time I'll be, with them in the room. It depends on if...
Or if they want to huddle up and talk privately about something before they get you involved?
Yeah, they're more welcome to do that.
Yeah.
I would say, obviously, it'll depend. Like if I got a husband and a wife, for instance, and the wife goes one way and the husband goes the other, you got to kind of figure out which way you want to go. And obviously you want to kind of point out things as you're walking through to make sure that they obviously, because some people may not know, looking at something that, maybe wiring's old or plumbing's old or something like that, as you're going through and pointing stuff out to kind of help them gain a little bit more knowledge about the property that they are looking at.
What the average time frame that you're seeing for a house on a market?
It kind of
Average.
depends. I would say probably about a month and a half,
That's what I
30,
was
45
thinking.
days, yeah.
I was thinking about that, yeah. We talked about it, but I don't know if I asked you your strategy. Your strategy for handling low offers or bidding wars.
I mean, for low offers or for bidding wars, I mean, it kind of would depend on the situation, whether I'm representing a buyer or a seller, obviously. Because, I mean, a bidding war is good for a seller. I wouldn't say it's great for a buyer that the price will keep on going up. Mm-hmm. And that kind of strategy would change between the two positions and kind of what the situation is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll close with this, Gordy. I cheated. I went on your page, Gordon Hitchcock III. I thought this was very interesting. I put it down because I want to talk a little bit about it. You said on your webpage there, Facebook webpage, I can help with the following: searching for your dream home, preparing to sell, and exploring your option. Those are high quality, helpful topics for the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that a lot. And then you said you're committed to providing professional guidance, clear communication, no doubt in my mind, exceptional service, and again, 3 great commitments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, information to contact you. If some of our viewers here are in the market of buying, how can they reach Gordon Hitchcock III and not Gordon Hitchcock 1 or 2?
They can always reach me. My cell phone number's 440-261-0170. They can call or text that number. I mean, I got a voicemail if I don't answer the phone immediately. leave me a voicemail, shoot me a text, whatever. If they're more of an email person or they're more of a text person, they can email me at ghitchcock.rea@gmail.com.
So I got it right.
Yep.
And is there a preference in how you wish to be contacted?
Nope, they can contact me by smoke signal for all I care.
Okay, well, I enjoyed this interview. I'm glad I got to meet you,
Yeah.
even though I thought you were Sam. But, and what's he doing now, did you say?
Sam is a anesthesiologist.
Ooh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Whew. Anyway, great interview, and good luck with your new career. Just a month in, I have asked some veteran questions, and you handled it well, and great basketball career, and just a great guy, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate you having me on.
Gordon Hitchcock III on Around the Town with Chuck